Who goes there? That nightmare again. I need a drink.
You're awake, Mr. Pierce. How do you feel?
Did I sleep long?
The day's only starting. It's fine.
Dr. Fuller hasn't reported your disappearance to the force, but that'll come soon.
Bradley?
Who else would it be?
Mr. Pierce, are you all right? You look like you saw a ghost. Tell us.
I met a Francis Sanders. Do you know him?
Of course, he's a patient. Or was. I haven't seen him since Dr. Fuller had him
He knew Sarah Hawkins. And...
What?
I'm not sure.
Tell me how Mr. Sanders...
I didn't see what, but...
Of what did...
Sanders said it was Sarah Hawkins' visitor. He spoke of it like...
Sarah Hawkins? This makes no sense. I don't see...
You really think she's involved? How could she have murdered...
Francis Sanders mentioned Mrs. Hawkins just before dying. It's no coincidence.
You know, Francis Sanders was a well-known... I guess you can still pay a visit to his wife, Irene.
An art collector, you say?
If you plan on having dinner at the Sanders household, please spare the widow the tale of her late husband's suffering.
I don't agree. She deserves the truth.
But that truth may be biased. We don't know the
You're right. Without a plausible explanation for what I saw, let's not jump to conclusions.
That seems wise indeed.
Very well. I'll go to see Francis's widow. Perhaps I'll find a link between her husband's death...
Don't end up in the hospital this time.
Let us go now and learn the truth about what's happening on this island. Let us go now and learn the truth about what's happening on this island.
The other night's events are still confused in my head. The other night's events are still confused in my head.
What can I do for you, sir?
Mrs. Sanders, I'm a private detective. We must talk about your husband and his ties to Sarah Hawkins. Can I come in?
You may. However, before we go any further, please know that my husband died yesterday.
That is precisely what brings me here.
Well, well, look who's here. You know each other?
We met briefly. Time enough to iron out a few matters. The main thing is that we understood one another. The brave detective has a talent for sticking his nose into my business.
I bump into her every time I'm investigating someone's death.
It's a small island, Detective. My island. It's better that it's you bumping into me.
You're investigating Francis' death. Why? Who hired you?
I spoke to Francis before he died. His story suggests a link to a case I'm working on.
Well, since this business has got nothing to do with me, I'll be in your husband's office, Irene. We'll carry on later.
Very well, Miss Baker. This way, Mr. Pierce. And do make yourself comfortable. It would seem that you have much to tell me. May I inquire as to when you had the opportunity to talk to my husband?
Yesterday, I met him at the hospital. He spoke to me about Sarah Hawkins.
Oh, of course he spoke to you about her. That's all he talked about. Sarah Hawkins. Please forgive my tone. The fact is that I have not been allowed. You, on the other hand, a perfect stranger, were able to see him and even talk with him the day he died. How was he? Were you present when he had...
I expected to find you more grief.
I do not like the tone of your allusion, sir. And so I'm sorry to disappoint you if you're expecting more hysteria and grieving widow in my voice. Rest assured, however, I need to understand. How could this happen? In a reputed institute? And right before your eyes? Did you not do anything to help him?
With all due respect, Mrs. Sanders, it was you who sent him to...
How dare you? What was I supposed to do, Detective? Upon seeing such a brilliant mind, waking with a start every night with him shrieking in horror, petrified before this accursed painting, unable to look away, until he managed to gouge his eyes out with his own hand. I should have listened to Dr. Fuller, let him intern him months ago. If I am to be condemned, it is because I did not act sooner.
I'm not here to condemn you, Mrs. Sanders.
Oh, I'm tired, Mr. Pierce.
Did your husband talk to you about Sarah Hawkins' visitor? A shambler, to use his precise terms.
Well, you can't imagine that. It's exhibited at the center of the gallery. No better place for the painting that endowed him with the privilege of such a shameful and miserable end to his life.
Hold on. The shambler is a painting.
Who else to paint such horrors?
It is my only lead at this stage.
Then you have paid no heed. For my part, I refuse to set foot in that gallery again.
Thank you, Mrs. Sanders. I won't be long. Did she really care for him after all? The day the Shambler came into the Sanders' lives. Let's see what this cylinder has to say once it's inserted in a phonograph.
Irene, I made a mistake. I fear that it might be too late for me. Nobody should enter, except to burn everything. I never had the courage. Pay somebody to do it. He's inside my head. I see him behind my eyelids each time I shut my eyes. I can't take any more. I can't hold him back. Forgive me.
Francis, I should never let them take you away. What have I done? Everything is my fault.
Francis Sanders and Sarah Hawkins were close. Friends, even? A house of artists. A house of artists. Sanders' accession register. He wrote beside the sham. What did Sarah Hawkins fear so much that she didn't want to sell the painting? Was Sanders aware of his imminent doom? She first refused to sell the painting. The Shambler. I need to see it. A strange Amerindian pendant. I could use one of those. Strange. For months, Sarah Hawkins refused to part with her painting, to finally give it away for nothing. Another volume of the Reverend's wife's diary.
That's twice you've stepped on my toes, Detective. Try not to make a habit of it.
I've got a lot of bad habits.
Some can be more what have you come looking for in this gallery?
I'm not here to cause trouble.
Worry me. Don't over. If the last beating wasn't enough for you, but as long as you keep out of my...
And you?
I'm here on business. Irene asked me to liquidate all these paints. She doesn't intend to hang around here for...
Why you?
Believe it or not, there aren't many collectors on Darkwater. It needs someone with a network, and a means of a choice that comes down to Fitzroy and me. And I'm far more Not now, sweetheart. I'd like to read this without some snoop looking over my shoulder. Go take a hike, Detective. Go take a hike, Detective.
These artifacts date from pre-Columbian times. These artifacts date from pre-Columbian times. The public entrance to the gallery. The man transforms an entire wing of his manor into an art gallery. Why was he so interested in old weapons? What the hell was that? Down. Did it? Maybe I can use this guy. What the hell was that? Maybe I can use this dagger. Oh, God. What the hell was that? Maybe I can use this dagger. This dagger looks different. Damn it! This dagger didn't work. What the hell was that? Damn. Maybe I can use this dagger. Damn it! This dagger didn't work. This dagger looks different.
You sure you won't be needing that hand? You're losing it, Detective. At this rate, you're right. The bottle will get you...
You didn't see anything.
I saw you within an inch of putting a dagger through...
I was attacked by a creature. I ran, screamed, broke a pane of glass. You were in the next room and you didn't hear a thing.
If I hadn't heard a thing, I'd still... The door was blocked. I got in as soon as I like to look after my good...
You mean me?
Don't flatter yourself, sweetheart. And by the way...
It saved my life.
You should talk to Algernon Drake. He's an antique dealer here on Darkwater. From what I saw in the ledgers, it was him who sold it to Sanders.
It's not your style.
Take it as payment for being my canary. A simple trade-off. Now go see your antique seller.
Where's the bookseller? Another volume of the Reverend's wife's diary. The Book of Zion is the foundational work behind Helena Blavatsky's Theosophical movement. Its followers place truth on the same footing as a religion. What does this strange book contain? This book contains unholy knowledge. What happened here? Let's start over. Where did they break in from? Blood. Seems like amateur work. Someone tall left this footprint. A man, probably. This burglar seems to be rather clumsy. What killed all these animals? What sort of thief leaves his tools at the crime scene? What happened that made the burglar flee before finishing his work? What the... Charles Hawkins? Looks like the symbol rejected Hawkins. Where did I see it? What sort of power did Sarah Hawkins' painting possess? Sarah Hawkins helped hide something in this safe. Drake put in a great deal of effort to hide whatever is in here. Everything is linked to the Sarah Hawkins case. Drake left instructions on how to find the combination of his safe. Is everyone on this island taking sleeping pills? What link did he find between Charles Hawkins and an old amulet? Arkham editions. Never heard of him. How many volumes are there in this collection? Another volume by Arkham Editions. Arkham Editions. Never heard of him. How many volumes are there in this collection? Another volume by Arkham Editions. Arkham Editions. Never heard of him. How many volumes are there in this collection? Another volume by Arkham Editions. Arkham Editions. Never heard of him. Things are not looking good. A kind of chalice. Cylinders that Drake tried to hide. I should perhaps listen to them.
And these red drops, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing to pay to know its secrets. And these red drops, like precious stones, lie fixed, set. And these red drops, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing to pay to know its secrets. I finally understood that we were only pieces on the chessboard of the gods. Let those of us who are still standing protect our White Queen from their dark soldiers. I see our number dwindling, and my will strengthens as my apprehension grows. We shall refuse to be the playthings of destiny. Dear friend, I thank you again for the anthology of the works of Arkham editions that you sent me. Volume 9, Azathoth and Other Horrors, seemed particularly relevant to my research. I never tire of browsing through them.
What did Drake say about this collection? Drake talked about a particular volume. So these are the volumes that Drake was talking about in his message. What did Drake say about this collection? Drake talked about a... So these are the volumes that Drake was talking about in his message. What did Drake say about... Drake talked about a particular volume. So these are the volumes that Drake was talking about in his message. What did Drake say about this collection? Drake talked about a particular volume. So these are the volumes that Drake was talking about in his message.
Puzzle. このゲームってスパイクチューンソフトだっけ？かけらも飾ってなぞー。海外のゲーム会社だから名前忘れた。ローカライズも？大泉屋ミュージオ。知らねえ。
And these red drops, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing to pay to know its secrets. I finally understood that we were only pieces on the chessboard of the gods. Let those of us who are still standing protect our White Queen from their dark soldiers. I see our number dwindling, and my will strengthens as my apprehension grows.
We shall refuse to be the playthings of destiny. I finally understood that we, dear friend. I thank you again for the anthology of the works of Arkham editions that you sent me. Volume 9, Azathoth and Other Horrors, seemed particularly relevant to my research. I never tire of browsing through them. I finally understood that we were only pieces on the chessboard of the gods. Let those of us who are still standing protect our White Queen from their dark soldiers. I see our number dwindling, and my will strengthens as my apprehension grows. We shall refuse to be the playthings of destiny.
The Queen has little protection.
And these red drops, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. And these red drops, like precious stones, lie...
The chalice of knowledge.
Fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing to pay to know its secrets.
What did Drake say about this collection?
And these red drops, like precious stones, lie fixed, set in divine gold. To be the guardian of the Grail does not protect me from its attractions, Henry. And I do confess it. I am willing to pay to know its secrets.
The chalice of knowledge.
I finally understood that we were only pieces on the chessboard of the gods. Let those of us who are still standing protect our White Queen from their dark soldiers. I see our number dwindling, and my will strengthens as my apprehension grows. We shall refuse to be the playthings of destiny. Dear friend, I thank you again for the anthology of the works of Arkham editions that you sent me. Volume 9, Azathoth and Other Horrors, seemed particularly relevant to my research. I never tire of browsing through them.
Dr. Colden, this man's condition is deteriorating.
What says Dr. Fuller? It's his patient, after all.
He's busy with Captain Fitzroy. He specifically asked us not to bother him when that's the case.
Oh, of course. I'll see what I can do. Mr. Blake, can you hear me? I'm Dr. Colden. We'll take care of you.
There's nothing we can do. I tried talking to him. He's catatonic.
What can you tell me about him?
He was highly agitated an hour ago. We were about to tie him 10 minutes ago. He curled up into a fetal position. I thought he was waking up, but no.
I don't recognize him.
He said he worked on the docks, but not with Captain. I think he works for Ms. Baker.
Who? Oh, I see.
Do you have other?
I don't
He said I think he works for Ms. Baker.
Who?
You know, the woman at the head of their gang. They call...
Oh.
Do you...
Show me his file.
That...
Don't tell me Dr. Fuller has taken this file as well. We need it.
That's why I called you. This man's ailment has been hidden from...
Come on now.
An intoxication, I was told.
What are his symptoms?
His temperature has been going down. I closed his eyes myself. They were glassing over. I didn't want them to dry out. And I couldn't bear to look at...
You did well. Don't worry. That'll do for the time.
Any idea what the...
Did you inject him with a
No, Doctor. Not me, not anyone. Our stuff...
Again? But there was enough for the whole...
More and more people are suffering from insomnia.
Of course.
Any idea what this...
Very well. Severe malnutrition. Swollen abdomen with traces of petechia. Slight protuberances seem to... His skin shows abnormal loss of color and seems dried out. He's totally... His fingertips and toes seem to feature a slight ring under the skin. Tender at the touch. Slightly sticky. 30-year-old subject. Erythematous papules around the eyes and eardrums.
So, Doctor, an opinion...
I'm not sure I have the necessary knowledge to treat this man.
Don't say that. You are most...
Some of his symptoms are
What did...
Did you examine his abdomen?
He hasn't eaten in days.
No. Can't you recognize an edema? Whatever it is, this man has something in...
Dr. Fuller said not to worry. That the edema would go...
You know... In spite of the muscle contractions, his arm...
Yes. They can't have...
And yet, if there is a bone in this arm, it's softer than that of... What about his cranium?
It's soft at the touch.
Look at these sticky rings growing at his fingertips. What can be...
I'm sure you'll find an explanation.
I see signs of hypodermoclysis, but
He's constantly under perfusion. I've even gone beyond the recommend... And you won't believe me, but...
He seemed to feel better.
Yes. Like he needs an aquarium, not a... But that doesn't explain his condition.
I almost don't believe it myself, but these...
What do you mean?
No. This poor man is from our world, and this transformation is killing him.
Where could he have gotten such an
I pray that it's not he...
Dr. Colden, may I know what you're doing to my patient?
What I'm doing? How about what you've done to him?
Let us calm down, my dear Marie. I don't appreciate... I've done to him what I do to all my patients. Provide him...
Your imagination is without limit. It's your homemade drug again, is it?
There.
These are alarming symptoms.
Do you believe that? I even think this man has a...
No, Doctor. This patient isn't himself anymore.
Really?
He's changing. His...
Fascinating. An animal, you say? Your reaction does. I know you're thirsty. It's your innocent worries for this man that...
For this man, and the others whose medical files you've been hiding.
I have to protect my discovery. These people owe me their life, but the world isn't ready yet.
I will not let...
You disappoint me, Marie. But in the meantime, take care of your own patients and try not...
Was that a threat? What did he mean?
It was a warning. Dr. Fuller is this institution's founder. My word is of no weight against his. If I continue to protect...
It's scandalous. Can't we do anything?
Oh, that evidence. I need to find the missing medical file.
And where would you find those?
I'd rather not think about that.
Of course, Doctor.
An unknown medicine. Judging by the other ones, it causes heavy side effects. This place draws you in and never lets you go. Chronic insomnia, like half the island.
Doctor, please. My chest. Oh.
His perfusion of a semi-physiological solution doesn't seem to work. He's undergoing a ventricular fibrillation. Nurse? Deborah, his potassium level is too high. Replace it with 2% glucose solution with insulin, calcium.
I'll tend to.
Thank you. He's. He broke his back in an accident down by the docks.
What's wrong with...
What are you talking? Yes, it's
the old whaling station.
You must rest.
You're right, Doc. I'll just sleep.
She recently came back from the surgical block. She's stable. Given her file, a nephrectomy would have been inevitable. But Fuller was able to save her kidney. What is the boiler room key doing here? The key to the boiler room. Not where I expected to find it.
I'll just sleep a...
Could this have been avoided? Mrs. Sanders? Oh, God!
Dr. Colden, here you are at last. This patient was again brought up to the psychiatric wing. We've been following the treatment you prescribed, but the dysgeusia persists and he's lost a great deal of weight. We haven't been able to move him. The stress makes him hyperallergic.
Sir, I am going to examine you. Do you understand? Inject him with a dose of pentobarbital, intramuscular, so that I can conduct the clinical examination. He bit his lips so much, they're still bleeding. White froth.
So, Doctor...
You did good work. The tranquilizer is kicked in. Now you can disinfect and bandage.
Thank you, Doctor. And as to his weight...
I'll prescribe an antifungal treatment for his dysgeusia. In the meantime, feed him intravenously.
It'll be done.
Another insomniac. I should find the cause for such a widespread trouble. The key to the boiler room. Not where I expected to find it.
I don't get why they have us waiting so long. Almost no patients here.
Ethan.
Marie,
What are you doing here?
I'm waiting for my...
Tell me your symptoms.
I have headaches.
Do you suffer from...
No.
Ethan, if you don't trust...
I have nightmares. It seems stupid, I know, but...
Actually...
No. No one has ever seen the things I see. It's like I'm turning mad.
So many people have... It's like an...
Do you think it might be...
I don't know yet, but everyone in Darkwater is suffering from nightmares.
Really?
We don't have any medication.
Oh.
Take care, Ethan.
You too, Marie.
Where did my fiancée go? I hope those nutcases will stop burdening her with work.
There's no way I'm leaving until I find what Fuller is hiding.
It's a quiet little town. Days go by, steady as ever. I wanted more for myself, but... It's a quiet little town. Days go by, steady as ever.
Dr. Colden. Do you want something? I think that you're needed in Block B, Doctor. Please, I'll be in trouble with Mrs. Donovan if I'm late. Do you want something?
Gentlemen, may I help you?
We're waiting on news regarding our mother, Maureen Harding. She came in with a kidney problem, but we haven't heard anything since.
I've tended to her. Her blood analysis is reassuring.
Are you talking about the...
She's still recovering, but...
Oh, thank you. We'll wait for her to wake up. We've been here since this morning, so it won't make a difference.
Patients and hospital personnel eat the same food.
Watch out for the water, Doctor.
No, you're pulling my leg. I'm not joking. I saw the schedule. She's alone in the bathroom again. And she still says nothing to that old witch, Donovan?
Oh, listen to the way you talk, you naughty girl. And the answer is no. You can imagine that she doesn't dare say a thing. That silly goose lets herself be trodden on.
Oh well, at least we won't have to clean for a while.
And just wait and see the next time the water's cut off. It's a real show. Dr. Colden? Dr. Colden? Dr. Colden?
Don't go falling over. That would be stupid.
We're running out of this medicine.
I know, Doctor.
Once again.
Can't you do it?
Donovan takes her instructions directly from Dr. Fuller. We're running out.
I know.
We've been waiting to be restocked for weeks.
Everybody says it. She's a witch.
The answers must be hidden in Fuller's
I didn't make
office.
this up. And I'm the one who pays. What a pest. It's so unfair.
It's temperamental, if I understand correctly. Elizabeth? You all right? Why is this room in such a state?
Because, as always, I'm cleaning it and the water was once again. I had to bother Mrs. Donovan again, giving her a new excuse to belittle me.
Do you really need Mrs. Donovan to open a valve?
I can't make these decisions without her approval. Anyhow, the boiler room is locked, so every time the water gets shut off, I have to go and endure her.
I see. Courage, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Doctor. Everything all
is well, Elizabeth. Thank you. I was making sure the water...
Thank God, no. The water's running. I have no desire to call Donovan for help.
Come now. Don't let that witch sap you.
I'm trying, Doctor. I'm trying. Sometimes I imagine she shuts down the water.
Her time. Courage, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Doctor. Everything all right, Dr. Colden?
All is well. Courage.
Thank you. Says it. She's a witch, an old hag. I didn't make this up. And I'm the one who pays. What a pest. It's so unfair. Sorry, but nobody can take anything until I finish the... Please. The fewer interruptions there are, the faster I'll be finished. Thank you for your help, Doc.
Thank you. I'll be going. This man, Edward Pierce, his file is incomplete. What did Fuller do to him? In theory, this is where we had Dr. Fuller. In theory, Dr. Fuller always keeps his key with him.
I think that you're needed in Block B, Doctor.
The key to the boiler room. Not where I expected to find it. The operating room is never accessible after an operation. Let's hope I can go through the administration office.
Up. And I'm the one who pays. What a pest.
I have little time for you, Doctor. You'll find out that it's not only the doctors who have things to do. I have little time for you, Doctor. You'll find out that it's not only the doctors who have things to do. Wait a minute. Where do you think you're going? Dr. Colden.
Mrs. Donovan.
Nobody goes into Dr. But rest assured, I'll tell him you came.
That won't be necessary.
I will tell him. I have little time for you, Doctor. Wait a minute. Where do you think you're going?
Mrs.
No, but rest assured.
That won't be. Let's hope I can go through the administration office.
Watch out for the water, Doctor.
The key to the boiler room. All I have to do is shut off the water and hope Donovan takes the bait. I can't shut this with my bare hands. I need a tool.
She's a witch, an old hag. I didn't make this up.
It's temperamental, if I understand correctly.
What a pest. It's so unfair.
Hay fever? What's he doing here?
I'll just sleep.
Dr. Colden?
Thank you again.
Is everything all?
Yeah,
I will.
Oh.
I feel guilty about Elizabeth, but I need the diversion.
Dr. Colden, might there be a problem with the...
I was about to mention it.
I can't take this.
It's not your fault if we have...
And yet, I'm the one who gets punished because I'm gonna have... Courage, Elizabeth.
Dr. Colden?
I'm grateful to you for having kept me on despite that incident. I just need the water to be put back on. Otherwise, the bathroom will quickly become a nest of germs.
Very well. I'll finish what I'm doing, and then I'll fix your blunders once more.
Thank you, ma'am.
Out of my sight. Go chatter with your colleagues. That's what you do best.
The last. The missing files must be hidden here. Stendhal syndrome. Of course. This is where Fuller found his diagnosis for Francis Sanders. Something is wrong with these masts. It's some sort of puzzle. Something is wrong with these masts. It's some sort of puzzle. I've unlocked something. Patient files. I was right.
Conclusions, session number 17. Patient, Sarah Hawkins. The patient appears to have finally accepted the illusory nature of what she calls the mythos. It goes without saying that these peculiar delusions are the price that comes with her exceptional gifts.
Why does Dr. Fuller write psychological reports about Sarah Hawkins?
At first, I presumed that her blood was the key. But I found nothing to explain Mrs. Hawkins' abilities.
The poor souls downstairs are not Fuller's only subjects.
Then James came, irate that Charles was keeping secrets from him. I presume that he will try to break into the basement sooner or later. I am prepared.
Hawkins, Fitzroy, and Fuller. What is the connection between these three?
It is fortunate that I had the presence of mind to set the morgue in the basement. When all the fuss about the Hawkins incident finally comes to an end, I will dispose of her belongings. In the meantime, they must remain hidden in plain sight.
Why is Ethan on medication? This finger belonged to a woman. Why keep it here? Of course. Sarah Hawkins is the connection. I must go back to the basement. I should go another way.
Ah, now that's the Marie that I know. I knew I could count on your scientific... It's time to show you what you were so eager to discover.
If you're gonna shoot me, at least have the decency to look me in the eyes.
Turn around. Slowly. Talk, filthy thief! Oh, I swear I'll shoot!
Take a minute to look around. Everything points to Charles.
He's dead!
No.
Oh.
The book.
Have you read it?
Answer the...
Now you won't be able to escape. What did it show you?
She went into Fuller's. She was looking for Sarah Hawkins' corpse.
Sarah Hawkins, you say? Let's go back to the start, shall we? Whose life did the Necronomicon choose to show you?
Dr. Colden. She was at the Riverside Institute. She's in danger. I have to go.
Wait! No one knows the occult better than... You might need my help.
All right. All right. I might need you after all.
Perfect. Let's meet later at the... Now go!
Thank you, Drake.